Hi, this is Jackie Tomlin,
I'm Ellie Lieberman.
and welcome to When
When
Spirit
Spirit
Speaks.
Speaks. We're gonna get it down. We're gonna get it down. I'm probably gonna
We're
say that
gonna
for
get
like
it down.
30 years, Jackie. I'm gonna be like
Yeah.
eventually.
Welcome back, everyone. Hoping you
Yes.
had a wonderful Thanksgiving and getting ready for your Christmas or whatever you celebrate.
Yes.
Today, here to talk about instead of, the name of our show is When Spirit Speaks. But today we want to hone in on something a little different, and we're going to hone in on how Spirit speaks.
So very different. Timing is one thing, right? So we have when, right? But how we receive those messages and how they come in are it's very complicated, I would say. It's very, do you think that most people, I'm going to get you right now, Jackie.
Okay.
You can plead the fifth if you want. Okay. Do you feel like most people have one particular way that they will always experience how spirit speaks to them? Do you think that there's one way?
I think there's many more than one ways, but one way that maybe a person will hone in on better than
Yes.
others. And if you refer back to our last episode, we talked about the gifts and the
Yes.
varied gifts, and everyone has their strengths and everyone is different.
This is
So,
why I asked. Yeah.
yeah, so this show kind of goes hand in hand with how spirit speaks, how spirit comes to individuals, and how different it can be from one
I
to the
mean, if you think about it, you can have, well, so like I've experienced a lot of different mediums and a lot of different ways that mediums connect, right?
yeah.
So one of the most amazing, I'm gonna totally name drop her, Melanie McLean.
Okay.
Hello. I don't even know if she has any kind of technology at all. She's a
Okay.
really talented medium in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Okay.
And it is the first time I've ever seen anybody channel spirit through pop culture references.
Okay.
And so how she gets information is they will show her a pop culture reference. So like my grandmother, her married name when she passed was Peabody.
Mhm.
And she was like, does anybody remember the cat Mr. Peabody?
Wow.
Right. So like that is one way we can kind of that's the most I think relatable way I can bring up to our listeners. Like this is what we're talking about is how it comes in the fashion that it comes in.
I had you're talking about channeling, and I'll name drop her too, but I'll just use her first name. Her name is Diane. She used to live here locally in Virginia. She now lives in New York. Was the first time I got to sit down and watch someone channel. Okay. She actually channeled the 9/11 predictions.
Oh wow. Yeah, she had like a disaster or
And,
a real life event.
you're dumbfounded because you don't want to believe what she's saying.
Right.
But the thing about it was she spoke in a different voice.
Oh, we can definitely talk about that too.
Yeah, she spoke in a different voice, and it was no voice that she could imitate. She did not remember. I mean, we're allowed to record it, but it was no voice that she could imitate or duplicate, and was amazed when we played on playback how her voice
Maybe
changed.
maybe I like subconsciously block myself. And like if I would just be open to that, I could see me doing something like that because I'm so animated.
Right?
Man, please don't let this be a thing that I'm asking for right now. Please don't let this be a thing.
You never know. You never know. But you're bringing up a good point. Okay. Those gifts are listed in the Bible, whether people want to believe that or not, and it asks
Yes.
you to pray for them.
Yes. Yes, you pray
Straight
for
up
them.
ask you to pray for them. They
You
come in
have to.
many forms or whatever, and I just I'm
That's
always
pretty incredible for someone to be like, my name is Little Johnny, and I'm here to tell you about the 9/11 prediction. And you're like, wait, what?
right. But I mean, first starts off in this different voice with George Bush. Of course, we got the wrong George Bush. We didn't know which Bush we were talking about. But we're sitting there going,
Yeah.
I mean, you're really sitting there thinking about it, but it's coming from something. It's coming from
Mhm.
somewhere because this is not her voice at all.
what I think is important. So like how spirit speaks is really, it goes in tandem with a lot of other things. Got to know your gifts.
Yes.
You have to better understand them. But to know whether or not it's just in your head or not is a whole other conversation. And this is where I think Jackie and I wanted to go with this, is to learn what is legitimate and what isn't legitimate, and how does it resonate. So that would be my thing for you, because for me, when I'm getting channeled and messages and I'm talking to people who've crossed over and had
Right.
all this stuff come in, it's always information that I have absolutely no idea about, like not
Right.
Googleable.
You're there as the messenger to relate
Mhm.
what is being told to
I
you,
don't know if
what
you
is
had a
being
green
shown to you.
Mustang when you were
You have no
13, you
idea
know?
if it
Uh-huh.
resonates with the person or
Mhm.
whatsoever, but your job as the messenger is to say, speak, and everything you see and everything they talk about, you know?
Have you ever had spirit speak to you through music?
I have absolutely had spirit speak to me through
Me too.
music. I have also had spirit speak to me to the point that it takes my breath away.
Oh, yes.
And what I'm talking about is when I didn't ask a question and I'm not reading for someone and I'm making the bed, and all of a sudden this voice comes across very strong, very affirmative, and you're sitting there going, I don't know what to do with this.
So
But obviously, it's leading up to something. So it can take
that's
me
when
this
you
way.
phone a
It
friend and
stops
you
me in
say,
my
I'm
tracks
letting
and
you
say,
know right now, I just had the weirdest experience, so that you guys know, because I can guarantee you a lot of our listeners have probably had spirit speak to them, or are going to have spirit speak to them in some part of their life at some point. And sometimes we don't know that that's what's going on because we don't understand how it's happening.
my mother carried many psychic abilities, and her thing
Mhm.
was the crystal ball.
Oh, yes.
Okay. This was her thing. She was more fluent and more accurate with the crystal ball than she was any tarot cards, pendulum, or any
Mm.
other tool. But my mother was one that required tools to do a reading or to be able to
Yes.
hear it. So
Yes.
where I am clairvoyant and can see and hear, she had it coming in from the grocery store. Okay. She dropped her groceries out on the sidewalk because it spoke to her, and what it showed her and what it said to her upset her tremendously.
There you go.
And she asked me to come over and let's talk about it. Well,
That
what
makes
she
sense.
was shown is she was shown a hospital bed inside of her living room.
Oh,
Okay. And she was the one in the hospital bed. 6 months later, my mother was on hospice for breast cancer.
crazy.
And she's like, I don't know how you do this. I don't
Well,
know how
yeah.
you deal with this. And I'm
Well, I
like,
don't know how we do it either. I just know that it's happening.
yeah, I mean, it's not only how spirit speaks, you've got to understand we cannot control how
No.
spirit
It's
speaks.
like I'm opening up a door and then I'm just letting whatever comes in, and like I'm like, okay. And then there's the work, right? Like learning how to open that door, close the door, have a human experience.
It's like, where's the, I'm off button or the open sign?
I don't, there's no unsee button either, Jackie. Once
Once you see
you're
it,
there. You can't turn it off. It doesn't, it is a management, guys. We manage
I
every
have
day our connection.
absolutely a couple of things that stay with me through life because it's going to come and play at some point in time. Okay. And what I mean by that is one night I was randomly shown a car accident. Well, I participated in this car accident.
Mhm.
I was a passenger in this car. I knew the car, I knew where it happened, I knew about the driver, and it was the craziest thing. And I'm like, why would, I mean, spirit does not make mistakes, but yeah, we do have to question and say, was this a misfire? Was this intended for
Or
someone else?
was this for me or was this for someone else? You know,
6 years later, 6 years later,
I'm sure it happened.
I met the family of that victim.
Crazy.
And it's like I could share with them what happened along that ride. up into the accident and what happened afterwards.
Yeah,
But for 6 years, it's in the back of your mind going,
so it takes a long time
"Oh
for
no."
things to unfold sometimes. So like this is the thing that I want to focus on when it comes to how spirit speaks. This is just me. I didn't
Yeah,
prep Jackie. This is
yeah.
just me. Just so her reaction will be blind. I'm just warning you guys. But um I personally think that we get messages and we want immediate reactions, and we live in a transactional world where we get immediate returns, often instant gratification. And when this kind of stuff happens, it's never on our time; it's on spirit's time. And so we can't seek instant gratification all the time when it comes to how spirit is talking to us. It the more patient you are, the more messages you'll actually get.
And I can really associate with what Ellie is saying here when it comes to mediumship reads. Okay.
Yes.
You've got, I'm not gonna mention any names, but those on TV that can walk up and say, "Oh, such and such is around
Yes.
you," and da da da. And I'm not doubting that because that's not my gift.
Right.
But if you come to me and say, "Jackie, I really want to connect with my Uncle Bob," the way I work is lifting the veil on the other side. Now, if
Same.
Uncle Bob is not there,
Same.
but Aunt June is there, we're going to talk to Aunt June, who may
Because
lead me to Uncle
it's
Bob.
not her number one identifier, but she
Right.
can do those
It
things.
may lead me to Uncle Bob and it may not. I don't have any control. So when you come to me and say, "No, I need to talk to Uncle Bob and I need to talk to him about his will," and
Mhm.
I lift the veil and Uncle Bob is not there,
Then it's
there's
not time to
nothing
talk to
I
Uncle
can do.
Bob.
That's nothing I can do about that. There's
Mhm.
nothing.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, it's gonna be someone there that you can connect with,
And
but
it will provide you answers that you're seeking. So there's the other side of things on how spirit is extremely cryptic. It
yeah,
is spirit does not speak English. Spirit speaks spirit. And so the way that spirit speaks, right? How it comes in is going to be a puzzle.
let me tell you this, if I have any of the Christian faith out there, okay, Jesus spoke in parables.
Yes, it is always an analogy, symbolic of some kind,
Right,
some
right,
sort of metaphoric experience,
right.
um,
So
so that it becomes
common
personal to you.
it's very common that we get parables that mean something to you but I, as a messenger, may feel like I'm crazy repeating it.
Okay. You guys want an example? I'll give you an example. It just happened to me. Okay.
Okay,
So I had a client who bought three of his closest friends from 20 to 30 years of his life,
right?
all bought them all readings. And I had only known him, so I don't know any of his friends. Let me just say his friends are amazing individuals, and it was a very good testament to who this person is. And I had my this client, he's really good about not giving me information. He makes sure I'm blind to whoever I'm going to refer.
Right.
And I get on the phone with this person. She's sweet as pie, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm about to say something. I don't know who it's from. I don't know what it's about, but I'm just to tell you it's all about the sauce.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know what this is. And I keep smelling barbecue. Are you grilling or something?
Wow.
And she said, I'm widowed. My husband died when he was 41 years old. And every year on his birthday, we make his famous sauce and we grill for him.
Exactly.
This is a perfect example of how spirit speaks in a way that I'm like, why am I saying this?
Right.
And as I explained in a previous episode, it doesn't come in any other way than blah, 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 it's all about the sauce. In my head, that's what I'm hearing. And I'm talking to this sweet lady, and I'm like, I'm supposed to say, like, we have to like let down any kind of bias or judgment in order to let it come in. That's how I
Absolutely.
receive.
We have to be open to receive so we can deliver. This is what our job is. I had this happen to me yesterday. And it was a very nice lady. She called me for a first time reading off of TikTok. And she calls me and she says, Jackie, I'm not sure if I want a 15-minute reading, if I want a 30-minute, maybe an hour. And I said, well, then, we'll pick up the tab at the end of the reading, and I'm like, what do you have? And she has a few things going on. Well, she asked me, the primarily question was the sale of a home. Okay. Well, I got the answer on the sale of a home, but then I had to cut her off because it went further than the sale of
Yeah,
a
so
home.
okay, so
It
spirit
got,
changes the subject
yes,
often.
the spirit just took over at that point. It was
I
the sale
totally
of the home.
understand.
It was the family. It was the move. It's what's coming up after the move. And literally, I just shut this woman up for a good 20 minutes, just rattling off everything I heard. And she was absolutely dumbfounded because I was on point with everything
Yes,
I was saying. And,
sometimes we come with that intention.
and
Yeah.
then when she comes back, like in general conversation, when I said something about her brother taking care of this aspect or whatever, she had never mentioned to me she had a brother.
Oh yeah, that's happened to me too. Where
You know?
I'm like, oh
So,
yeah, by the way, Johnny says hi. I always say Johnny. Johnny says hello and blah blah blah. And
right,
they're like,
right.
Johnny just texted me.
Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
it's like, and all we are doing is repeating what we're hearing,
I have no idea half of the things I'm about to say.
Right.
Like,
And it turns out this home that she's selling is involving her two other siblings and the passing of her father.
oh, wow,
And I was able to hone in and just say,
there's
granted,
peace
her
there.
question was to me that I have a home on the market and I need to know what you see.
Okay. Yeah.
So spirit just spills the beans on all of this.
Oh, listen, you want to know, you want to gossip? Go to spirit.
Exactly.
Spirit will
Because
tell you
maybe
all
they'll
the
fill
things.
in the blanks and tell you everything.
I think
You
the
know?
most profound ways that people really start to see how spirit speaks is through symbols and through music and through scent. So, like, I smelled my mother's like perfume, or now I've
Feathers,
seen
white
nothing but
feathers.
feathers, or
Yes.
I'm seeing nothing but my grandmother's car, and it was a 1984 Oldsmobile, and now I've seen three on the road. Right. So, these really unique,
Synchronicity.
pinpointed synchronicities, these signs that happen. But I call it the cosmic DJ,
Yeah.
especially when you have somebody who's got like a big age difference, a huge age gap from you. And so the music that they listen to, maybe the music that you listen to, were not the same thing. I find that to be very synchronistic when music comes in and you're like, how did that happen?
I have an oracle deck and it's called Elemental Awakening. Okay. And it's done by your four suits or by the four elements.
Okay.
There's a major arcana.
Okay.
Well, one of those court cards is a music card, and it's telling you to listen to the lyrics of the music, whether you're at a live music venue or if you're listening on the way to work. And in my other stream, we have a game that we play. You want to know what your day's going to be like? What's the next song on the radio?
Oh, I do this all the time. I'll literally go, okay, okay, let's say that you don't listen to the radio. Here's a
Yeah,
good test for you guys how spirit speaks, okay? Is you can do it on the radio, like Jackie's saying, or let's say you have like Spotify or some sort of stream
right.
with Pandora, those kinds of
Yeah,
things. Pick a number in your head, pick a random playlist, and go that number down. So, like if mine's 11, I'll click 11 down and
right.
click that song.
Yes.
It
And
works.
I've had people that will take the Bible, flip it open, go to a scripture on the page, and ironically, it is the answer that they're seeking.
Every time you could open up a random book in the bookstore and get
Exactly.
a message.
And
Spirit will
get
speak to
the
you in
answer.
new
But
ways.
but you need to phrase it. You need to phrase to spirit, I need the answer to this, and I'm gonna use this.
I think that 9 times out of 10, spirit responds, and the reasons why we don't see it is because we're genuinely not open. But if you are actually open, you will see how spirit talks to every single human being on this planet in some
Absolutely.
form or another. That was part of our intention here, is to let people know that we're not anomalies,
No,
like
we're
we're
not.
getting
We're not.
messages. If
It's
you are a human, you are able to receive a message from spirit.
absolutely, and it's like everybody and everything out there. Practice makes perfect. Perfect.
Yes.
Ellie's and I full-time job is to work with spirit on messages and what we're supposed to be doing.
This is why we're so good at it, because we've been doing it for eons now. This is not like, this is
Right, this
not,
is new to
I
us.
mean, so there's another way you could look at things too, is like sometimes ignorance really is bliss. And like there are times where people who don't know that they're psychic are saying psychic things,
Mhm.
and it stops when they become aware that they're psychic.
Because they're scared of it. And for those of you that feel that your psychic is a brick, pray on it. Pray on
Yes.
it. Just ask for it, and pray on it.
Yes.
Dream interpretation is one of my favorite
Great
things.
way.
Dream journals are important to keep beside of you. I mean, all right, let's take a snake for the instance, okay?
Okay.
That snake represents so many things, okay? So when I asked you about the snake, is it a black snake? Is it a coral snake? Is it a poison snake? Is the snake looking at you? Do you see the eyes? Is the snake just laying there? Did you walk up on it? Is it charging you? There's so many messages that can be determined with just the simplicity of a snake in a dream.
It's true. I mean, and then if you look at that and you look at how the many ways that we are starting to explain to you guys about how our experience,
Right.
look at how detail oriented spirit really is. It could seem like such a simple message, like a bunch of crows,
In
and
any reading,
detail oriented in your life, scattered through for many years through your life. Like I have people who had never had any identity with a certain object or thing or association, and then someone passes, and then all they see is like a bunch of frogs, or all
right,
they see is a
right,
bunch of eyeglasses, or
right.
yeah.
Well, and okay, Sagittarius here, birthday next week, so y'all know, show me some love. But I have a patience problem. And in any reading I get from Miss Ellie Ann or anyone else, my question is, when?
Are we gonna
When?
do that right
I
now?
want I want the hour, the date, the time. What day is this going to occur? And when is, that's up to spirit to speak to us when. And sometimes we are shown a calendar, okay? And it may
Yes.
show us like between the 1st and the 14th.
Mhm.
That's gonna be significant, and sometimes it won't show us at all.
Mhm.
Sometimes we can use tools as in a tarot read and a spread that will show us a certain time, but when is a hard one to nail down because life goes on and you can affect that when.
It's the truth.
So
So,
a
so
good
I like
example is you're calling me and you're saying, Jackie, when is the next love of my life coming in? And I'm
in the
staring
course
at
of
calendar.
due time. That's what I would say. In the
Yeah,
course
and
of
I'm
due time.
and I'm staring at the calendar. But then on your end, you decide, oh, well, it's going to be on this date or around this date, so I'm just going to work and go home. Okay, well, the mailman didn't ask you out. Okay, you got to do your part. You got
Yes.
to continue to live and do your part. But if I'm asking you to switch things up because
It's so that it fits on
smallest
that
changes,
timeline. Right. So let's talk about that.
smallest changes,
So
yeah,
if spirit tells you something, we're telling you something, how spirit is coming in is through a calendar. I
yeah,
can guarantee you we've already are going to, or we already have told you how to make those things happen.
yeah.
Your job is to do the things that we have advised in order for it to fit in that calendar.
In many of my readings, you will hear me say, when you do the same thing, you get the same result, change it up.
Hey, Jackie.
Small changes.
Hey,
Small
Jackie.
changes.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey, Jackie. Do you take your own advice when it comes to that? If you can't see her, she's scowling at me right now. Just I don't. So
Look, I'm a Sagittarius, and not many people can leave me speechless, but Miss Ellie Ann can.
The thing is like we have certain areas in our life that we have a harder time letting
Yes,
go of.
yes.
And so, sometimes, especially when we are working in such profound spiritual ways, I mean, really, Jackie and I are very humble, and we understand that what we do is a really big deal, and we don't let it go to our head, but it is a lot of responsibility. But the gains are massive, but we have to work really hard in our personal lives to get the things that you guys are trying to achieve or have achieved really hard.
You ever feel like that sometimes your visions and what you're hearing come in like, back when we had rabbit ears and aluminum on the antenna of the
Yeah,
TV,
like an
and you
antenna.
got bits and pieces of it, but yet if
Yeah,
you call
and
me
it's
from
like,
London, if you call me from
yeah,
London and
yeah,
you need
yeah.
your car keys, I'm gonna take you right to them. You know,
Yes. Well,
I live
I
in
mean,
a small home, can never find my car keys. Never.
right. Well, I mean, you have a really good point. Okay, you do. You have a good
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
What I am saying is the reason why I'm teasing Jackie is that she knows if you do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, you're going to go nuts. She knows this.
And I
But
constantly do this.
spirit speaks to us in many different ways. Another way how spirit speaks is through tests. And it's something that I think all of us go through in some form or fashion. Sometimes we get tested.
Let me give you examples of little things that you
Yes.
need to change up. Okay. So, like if you grocery shop on Thursdays, try
Yes.
Wednesday or Friday. Okay.
Right.
If you go to your bank is at this location, go to the next branch. If you gas your car at this station, go to the next station. There's just
Change your
small
pattern,
things.
change your life. And so, but she's gonna really try to avoid me picking on her, and I'm not gonna let her. So good job. Nice try. What I'm going to say to you
She calls
is
me out, and I love
I'm
that. You know
guilty
what?
as well.
I am sorry, people, but a good psychic will call you
I
out
can't help it. I'm like,
every time.
okay, here we go. Well, I'll
On
say
that
this.
note, I take a minute to give them our
Oh,
information?
yes, please
They're
do.
seeking,
See, she's so smart, guys.
we're seeking a psychic reading. First of all, if you want to be a guest on the show next week, get excited. We have our caller coming in. Okay.
Yes, we do.
When Spirit Speaks Podcast at gmail.com. Your best bet in getting in on the show on our free psychic reading. We do not require you to do video. We do require the audio. It's all in what you're comfortable in. And we're not going to pick you apart. We love picking each other apart because this is what makes Spirit speak.
Exactly.
Now, if you are looking to contact Ellie, she is Be Guided by the Light. Ellie Lieberman. Direct number 818-427-3870, offering Cash App and Venmo. For me, it is JackieTomlin.com. Direct number is 804-731-2302. And there's a menu of various readings as well as payment plans or however you want to pay. And tell us you heard us here.
Yes,
Heard us
we
here.
want to know. We
We
want
want
to know.
we want
And we want to engage. Look, we're really loving doing this stuff. And this has been such an eye-opening experience for Jackie and I because working together or working with anybody can be very difficult, especially as psychic people. And I know that we both get messages while
and we're
we're sitting here.
established. Look
We're
inside. We're
established.
established. We are established psychics. We are not
Yes.
no joke. This is my 16th year, Miss
Yeah,
Ellie.
yeah, yeah.
16
I'm
years.
on year 12. I understand. I
You know,
completely understand.
we're not
Well,
the
so
newbies.
for us, this is an opportunity for us to get to know who's listening, where we're going forward. Because I can guarantee you, this is a spirit guided experience for us. This is something that came to us. We did not just go out looking for somebody to do a
It,
podcast with. It
it's
just
it's
is
very
happening.
It's very funny because I have that paranormal team that was well thought out, well planned. I mean, we got started before I expected. We ran a few investigations with no name whatsoever. Everything I have done has been built on my name. And when I decided I wanted to do the podcast, it was different because I wanted to produce the podcast. Okay.
Yes.
And a little bit because I wanted to get into production in 2023. Well, I was going to start production in January. Spirit said, no, you're going to start production now, which for us was October.
Yep.
I knew Ellie very, very little.
It was
Okay.
really brief.
It was very brief, it was very little, but we had a spiritual synchronicity
Connection. Oh my
connection.
gosh.
Okay. So,
Synchronicity
and
was
it just felt right. Normally, I would research someone to death because I really don't
same,
talk to a whole lot of people in the spirit community. And
same.
I reached right out to her and I said, let's do this
We should
podcast
do this.
together. She did not hesitate. She said
Yep.
yes, and here we are. We bounce with this show. We establish a topic. We do not discuss it. We let
We are doing this for you guys because we're being guided to do this.
unedited.
This
Yeah.
is unedited for a reason. And so your feedback and what you say, it really does matter to us. We are
Yeah.
going out on a limb in our own way, going, let's go. So hearing you guys, and look, the more that we get into the flow of things and we start doing live readings as well, I think you guys are going to really start to see where Jackie and I shine. This is just the tip. You guys are just getting
just
up
the tip of
just
the
a little
iceberg.
bit.
You
Just
guys
wait.
have no idea, no idea. And I'm gonna give that address again if you do want to be on a call-in show. I mean, this is the best way to get your free reading. It is When Spirit Speaks Podcast at gmail.com, and we will make it happen.
Yes, I can't wait. It's going to be amazing. Jackie still thinks she's going to escape me calling her out. It's funny. So I'm going to call her out right now. For the sake of hilarity, it looks like this. You ever had that one person that just will not go away?
Yeah.
Jackie has
See, that's what I
those
love about Ellie.
experiences.
I love about her. I mean, honestly, before the show today, this is no lie. I had a question for her, and I said, okay, I need to know if this is toxic or if this is meant to be. Before I got it out of my mouth, she said toxic, walk away.
Yeah. And then I'm like, so like I won't leave
And
you
then she goes further and said, I told you this 2 weeks ago.
I'm allowed to be mean to Jackie. We're pretty mean to each other, so it's okay. It's a sisterly aggressive.
Exactly.
But the thing is, we're tough cookies. So sometimes how spirit will speak to us is in a very out of our character manner.
Question what spirit says to you. Like I said, if I come back and I say, oh, this has to do with a green baseball and a purple soccer ball, and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
The messenger is totally confused. We do this with one another. She sees things differently than I do, and it's hard
It's super helpful to have another person.
Yeah.
When we're so intuitive and we're so psychic, it's very hard to see ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that we really feed on each other, but I'm feeling pushed to like say it. So I'm going to just go for it, which is that everybody, including us, are human beings, and we do not have these divinely perfect lives because we're psychic. We have a lot of stuff we also have to work through. Like I get feedback sometimes, oh, your life must be so great. I want to be psychic. Having spirit speak to you all the time must be amazing. And let me tell you, it's a kick in the head. Like it is extremely difficult to deal with our own incarnation in our own life and the things that are going on, help other people, have spirit going on, raise kids, do the things. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
And I think a lot of people misinterpret this, that when you're single and I'm dating someone that I'm reading him constantly. No, I'm not. I want some normalcy in my life. I want you to act. So I need this person to communicate with me because I am not sitting there reading them.
But my whole intention of dating someone or getting to know someone so that I'm not on the clock, I want my freedom. I don't want to have to channel.
Show we've had something a little extraordinary happen, and I like to bring up what today to me seems to be a little extraordinary. If y'all will look at Ellie, and I know you can only see the visual on YouTube, I understand that, but if you will look at Ellie, And I want you to look, well, it'd be my left is what I'm looking at, so it's technically Ellie's right,
With my hand.
okay? Put your hand down. Put your hand down. Can y'all see the planet behind her? Can you see the face in that planet that is smiling at her?
What?
Can you see it? Yes.
That?
Yes.
Listen.
I'm telling you guys, things happen on this show and things happen a little differently. And yes,
Yes, I see it.
we do see things a lot differently than most people. And it's hard for them to understand that,
Well said.
you know.
There are times where here, this is a good thing to leave them
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
So I went to I had a client, his son passed away, and I went to his memorial, and it was a bunch of young people because he was in his 20s. And it didn't matter where I looked. It looked like the person who had passed.
Right.
It took on I was like, oh my God. And then somebody else came to me and said, does everybody look like him right now? And I was like, ah, ah, like, and it's
Some
very
things,
on those
well,
forms.
it is true. It is because of our gifts. Some things look totally
What may be purple to you could be totally chartreuse to me. And there's a reason why it looks chartreuse to me and purple to you.
I'm gonna reference a show that I recently saw with a friend. If y'all watched Manifest on
Yes.
Netflix, all right, when they have this, what they call a calling on
Yes,
there.
the calling. Yes.
The
We get
calling,
called.
and it's like that things are glowing in front of them, and only they can see that.
Yes.
It happens. That is real. It happens.
That is a perfect analogy for them. Go watch Manifest. See how the people who've survived this accident, this airplane crash,
If they
are
see
getting
things
messages.
happening and they're in a room full of people and nobody sees
I
that,
can 100%
yeah,
relate
yes,
to what
yes.
it's really, and it's kind of a it's an interesting show. I feel like it has that like end, like no end.
And,
There'll
and
never
so,
be an
so
end, right?
when people come up and you say something and people come up, they're like, "How do you know that?"
It's being illuminated.
And you're like, it's
I don't know.
flowing to me. I mean, normally what we say is, "Just trust me, just trust me."
Yeah, I say because it's so random, maybe you should pay attention to it.
Something here tried
Things
to tell you something.
seem so if things seem out of order or just so prominent, pay attention. It's called a synchronicity. We've talked about this before.
Yes.
I really think you should think about it. My rule is 3 times a
Clients around
charm.
you.
If things happen
One of
once, twice, 3 times, go for it.
the award-winning articles that I wrote back in the day, I used to be a journalist as a Richmond psychic and paranormal developer. And one of the awards I got was on an article and was called Phone Calls from the Dead. Okay. How many people have ever received a phone call from the dead? And the response was overwhelming. It
Definitely.
happens, folks. It happens. It's a different frequency. I totally get that. You are totally not crazy. It happens. And the response that we got from that article was
People just don't
absolutely
talk about it. They
dumbfounding,
don't
right?
because of the stigma of being insane. People don't talk about it. We want you guys to at least come out of the woodworks in
We want
some
you to
way.
think outside the box. Okay.
Yes, and
Think outside the
message
box.
us. You don't even have to come on the show. If this prompted you to think about things or things have happened afterwards after listening, please send us a message. We want to hear these kinds of things.
I get extraordinary messages from EMTs.
Oh yes, those are
Of,
my favorite.
of what
Government
what
officials,
they have experienced. Anything like that.
anybody who's a hero, like nurses,
Military.
military, police,
Yes,
firemen.
yes.
They are all teachers.
Share with us. Share with us.
Yes,
We will just go, if you want us to keep your name out of it, or we want to say Mark
happy
the
to.
firefighter.
We would
Nobody knows who Mark the
anything.
firefighter is.
We would
No.
like to share with everybody what you're experiencing. Please, we would love that so much. I know that Jackie and I are really excited. I cannot wait to do caller readings. I think next episode is going to blow people out the water.
We're going to show you. I mean, yeah, we're asking you to call us for a reading. We're asking you to do your research, see how long we've been around. Next week is when we're going to show you what it's all about.
Yes, we are.
We are very grateful we have a caller sign up for that. And let me put this out there again. We're going to do this every so often. If you want to be part of this, it is When Spirit Speaks podcast at gmail.com. Just say, let's try it. Now, you have an option to be on video. You don't have to be on video. And we're going to roll with it. You don't even have to ask specific questions. You can just come on and let us see what we pick up. I mean, this is what we do. And her and I, we bounce together. So we do that.
Yes, us reading together is a beautiful thing. I think anybody who gets a reading, especially is brave enough to do it on this show, is in for a real treat. Us two together we're pretty magical
we're
people.
We're not going to rip you apart. We're here to rip each other apart.
The cool part about Jackie and I is we may be tough, and we may be honest, but we're healers. We're here to help you win.
That's it. So where are we going with the next show, Ellie?
I don't know. You decide. I'm putting you. Don't try to. This is not. Try to get revenge on Ellie for calling me out today. We're not. I don't know. I know that we're gonna start out with. I
do want to touch base with visualization boards again.
Sure. You want to do some? You want to talk about vision boards next time?
Let's talk about vision boards and what 2023. What do you and I see for 2023?
I'm down. You want to do that? We can do that.
2023 vision boards. What do y'all think?
Okay.
I heard them agree.
All right. We already know.
Let's do it. We got this. Okay.
Just pay attention closely for our in-call read. I'm really looking forward to that.
That's it. It's going to be good and it's going to be fun, and you're getting us for free, and that normally does not happen.
Just saying.
All right, be guided by the light.com, JackieTomlin.com. You can get either one of us. They're both our cell phone numbers. Text us. Let us know you heard us. Tell us where you heard us from. This is all new to us. We are loving every minute of it. We love every one of you. And I thank you guys for joining us today. So what are we rolling with our next episode?
I guess we're gonna do vision boards and visualization.
Vision boards. Okay.
Yep. Let's do it. I'm down. We've had a lot of feedback on that, Jackie.
We have had feedback
on a lot of things, but people really wanted to know a lot about that. So, I guess until next time, I could say a lot of things right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait.
Exactly. We're going to keep y'all hanging each and every time. Okay. Well, guys, we love you.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening, and you will hear from us again next week with a guest caller. So see you then.
Enjoy.
Bye.
You just get better and better.